Hello everyone, welcome to the Endgame Movie Show. My name's Sean, and I have to talk about... Welcome to the Endgame Movie Show. Alright, and I have to talk about this debate that has been kind of raging on for quite a bit, and it's kind of picked back up because earlier today, one of the voices of Goofy, I think this actor who's like a voice of Goofy or something, and a bunch of other actors, and a bunch of other sites and other people started talking about today where like just some guy posted up like how he missed theaters, and he showed this image of the portal scene in Endgame when everyone was coming back, and it was like but it wasn't just, you know, the scene, it was like crowd reaction of the scene, and it was like the crowd was erupting and happy and cheering and whoa. And that's what I love about, you know, Avengers movies, is you get the crowd pumped like that. Like when I saw the first Avengers, it was unbelievable how pumped that crowd was. It was like being in a stadium. I don't really get that. Those are the only movies I've been to where I actually get that feeling. That and when the Star Wars logo went on for The Force Awakens for the first time, because it was like Star Wars was back and everyone was like, oh my fucking god! It hadn't even started yet. Seth was about to die. But it started to trend. Like in Avengers Endgame, it's still trending right now because of this, because people started posting it up. Next thing you know, Kevin Feige was talking about it, and all these different actors were talking about it. All the sites were talking about it. Comicbook.com, Screen Junkies, everyone was talking about like Avengers Endgame again because of that scene, because of how big that scene was, and it was trending and everyone was talking about it. But eventually it always breaks down to this. This was a conversation that happened after Avengers Endgame had came out, and this is another conversation that's happening now. Avengers Infinity War versus Avengers Endgame. Now, to me personally, it's not a versus. We're just having a conversation. I'm not really taking the whole versus seriously, because these are two movies that are different and a whole at the same time. And what I mean by that is these two movies are like the yin and the yang. The yin and the yang are different. Like, they are different. They are literally different. It's like black and white. They're both colors, and they're the yin and the yang to each other. To me, these two movies, like, I don't know how to describe this, but they're simultaneously different movies, while simultaneously being part one and part two to each other at the same exact time. Even the way both of the movies were marketed was different. The way both of the movies were marketed was different. The way the color palette was actually different. If you think about Avengers in Infinity War, you think about the bright colors. It's bright. Endgame was a bit darker. It was a bit darker. I mean, the first hour of that movie was like a DC filter with this dark blue and gloominess that really didn't even pick up until Ant-Man showed up. So like, yeah, like Infinity War was basically Civil War in the first Avengers bashed together. Like, that's basically what it was. It was Civil War and the first Avengers bashed together to make this adrenaline rush, because like even the tone of both of these movies are so different. One is this roller coaster ride. One is a roller coaster ride. One's a roller coaster ride. It's bum 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 bum. Like, it is just go. It is go 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 go. We got somewhere to be. Go 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 go. Well, the other one is, and I know some people are gonna make fun of me because it's a bit, and Endgame is a bit more cerebral. Endgame is a bit more, let's sit down and deal with what just happened. We lost. How is that it affects people? It affects people differently. Some people find solace in moving on. Others fall apart like Thor. Others look for a way to cope like Bruce Banner, to find themselves and, you know, put themselves back together. You know, like, it's just like everyone, like, literally, Endgame's a little bit more cerebral about it. It's a little bit more like everyone's dealing with some shit. And a lot of people, it was just ironic. The irony of the Infinity War and Endgame is, I remember when I watched, when Infinity War first came out, I gave it a 10 out of 10. I loved it, still love it. But the complaint people had was that there wasn't enough character beats. There wasn't enough like character growth. There wasn't enough, you know, character moments. It was mostly action, which I sort of agreed with. It was a little bit more less on the character stuff. Like, there was character stuff. Obviously, there was the scene with Thor. There's a lot of character stuff, but it's very fleeting and it's very fast. It happens. It's gone. You see it. It's great when it happens, and then it's like we're moving on. It's very fast. It was very like, let's get to what we need to get to. Bam, 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 bam. And like, that was the complaint, is that there wasn't enough character moments, there wasn't enough, story, like not story, but like story for the actual main characters. It was Thanos' movie, and Thanos got the arc, Thanos got these things, but the other characters were just in opposition of him, which was a great thing, and it was amazing for the movie, and it ended up having one of the most iconic endings of all time. The thing is, all those complaints that those people had about this, Endgame answered those questions, gave you those character beats, gave you those character growth. I mean, Thor was a wreck going through a lot of stuff, and he had to come to terms with himself. Bruce Banner finally became more useful as more than just a smashing, destroying machine. Captain America finally decided to do something for himself instead of others. Tony Stark's arc comes full circle. It's like, Ant-Man, the small guy, becomes the most useful character in the entire MCU. Doctor Strange was correct, and it makes you reflect on, like, there's so many things coming in this. Natasha trades her life to save, her friends and everyone else, and Clint Barton becomes a murderer because he lost the only thing that ever mattered to him, which drives him to becoming something very similar to Black Widow, which breaks her heart. There's so much more emotion and growth in the characters in Endgame. It's just, that's what it is. Avengers Infinity War is the hype. Is not the hype, it's the build-up. It's the build-up. It's playing a video game and getting to the boss battle. It's the build-up, it's the hype, it's the building up, and then, building up, conclusions and whatnot, and then you get to the last episode. You get to the last episode, which is the conclusion. All the twists have happened. Everything all the characters have been through comes to a conclusion. The characters, it's just, there are two halves of a whole. But the better movie is Endgame. It actually is the better movie. But Infinity War is the more entertaining movie. I think that's the answer. I think that is the correct answer when you ask this question at Infinity War and Endgame. Because Infinity War, because they both have something each does not have. Infinity War is just a joyride, and it's a great joyride, but it is Civil War and Avengers mashed together. It's a joyride. The beats, like, there's not very many characters. Most of the character stuff is given to Thanos. There are some character stuff for the most part for the other characters, but most of the characters throughout, Infinity War are who they are, and they are who they were throughout the course of the movie. You just get to see them bounce off of each other, and it's a joyride. It is. I'm not saying anything wrong about Infinity War. I love Infinity War. But Endgame was the character stuff. I remember watching the first hour of Endgame being like, I've never seen them like this before. I've never seen Black Widow this disheveled. I've never seen Captain America so looking away, just like trying to help people, but not knowing how to help himself, wanting to quit. I've never seen that before. I never saw Tony say something along the lines of, I won't help you because I have too much to lose, and I won't help you, Scott. I won't help you guys travel through time. The Hulk is happy. He's smiling. Kids walk up to him, ask for his autograph. Like, Endgame pushed so many characters' arcs forward and changed them in many ways, in many creative and unique ways. I mean, Hawkeye, Endgame literally made Hawkeye a bad motherfucker. No one cared about Hawkeye, and then Endgame made people care about Hawkeye. It was fucking nuts, man. And then the third act of Endgame is better than the third act of Infinity War. It just is. The third act of Infinity War was great, fantastic as well. But the third act of Endgame is gonna go down in legend. It was insane. To a conclusion, in the debate between Avengers Infinity War versus Avengers Endgame, I personally think Endgame, is a better movie, but Infinity War is more entertaining. And that's not even to take a slight. That's not even like a slight. I think the same thing. I think that Winter Soldier is the best directed movie in the entire MCU. But I think that Thor Ragnarok is the most entertaining movie like, in terms of, you could just throw it on at any time, any moment. You don't have to think about it. You just throw it on and, like, literally just watch it anytime. I think Thor Ragnarok's the most entertaining. But Winter Soldier is the best directed movie by far. But between the two of these, I think Endgame's the better movie, but I think Infinity War is the more entertaining movie, which is why some people think that it's, you know, better than Endgame. Some people think Infinity War is better than Endgame because it's so entertaining, because it's so spectacular and entertaining. And there's a large chunk of Endgame where it's just character stuff, where it's just slow character stuff. And I heard some people say that nothing's happening. I'm like, no, there's always something happening in Endgame. It's just not everything's blowing the fuck up, which is ironic that literally the complaint about the MCU is, all you guys do is mindless CGI nonsense. Then they go, awesome, we're gonna do an hour of nothing but character building, nothing but quiet character study. We'll let these actors act, and everyone went, oh, that's boring. I'm like, you fucking guys are never gonna be happy. You guys will never be happy. They could give you Infinity War and you guys would be like, oh, no character stuff. Get you Endgame, be like, oh, where's the action? Fuck this. I like Endgame better. Love Infinity War. It's a hell of a movie. Both of them are great. Both of them made $2 billion. Marvel on top. Thank you guys for joining me on Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like, subscribe. See you in the next one. Goodbye.